Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about books and I am so excited. I recently read the Acotar series, so I thought it would be fun to do like a little bit of a review on them, but don't worry, this is going to be spoiler free because if you haven't read these books yet, I don't want to ruin the experience for you. So we're not going to be talking about any spoilers, but I did want to give you a little bit of a rundown about the Acotar series and what I thought about it. I initially ordered these because there was so much talk about them online. Like, I feel like everyone was talking about it on TikTok and I just really wanted to see what the fuss was all about. I ordered the first book on its own because I really didn't think I was gonna like it. Like, I didn't think I was gonna be into fantasy. So if you've not kind of heard about this series, it's like a romance slash fantasy. They've coined like a term for it called like romantasy. So I thought, I like romance. I love a bit of romance, so let's give it a go. I know that I like the Hunger Games and Harry Potter, so I was like, let's just see what it's all about. And to be honest, the whole series did give me, initially it gave me a lot of like Hunger Games kind of vibe, and it gave me like Harry Potter kind of vibes, kind of, because it's got like magic and it's got like trials and it's got like, I don't know, it just, initially I was thinking like it reminds me of the Hunger Games. That's what I initially got from it. I'm going to give you my Goodreads ratings as well, so I'll pop a link to my Goodreads in the description box because I want to be Goodreads friends with you. Yeah, let's get straight into it. The series starts off with book one, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, and that's like where the name Acotar comes from, is this first book. This book is basically just like an intro into the world, so you meet like most of the main characters, but you don't meet all of them that you meet later on in this series, but you meet most of them in this book, and it kind of just like sets up the storyline for you. A lot of people think this is boring, but I actually didn't find it boring at all. Like, I just thought this was like the perfect stepping stone into the kind of fantasy books that I needed, and I think without this book the rest of the series that wouldn't make sense. So you kind of need to read this to get like an understanding of like what's going on and like who the characters are. But yeah, I thought this book was really good and I rated it 4 stars out of 5 on my Goodreads. So initially, because I wasn't sure if I was going to like the series, I actually ordered this on its own, but after like 3 or 4 chapters I immediately like ran and ordered the rest of the series on Amazon because I just know I was gonna love it. And like, honestly, kind of like the middle to the ending of this book, so from about like here, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, this, honestly, it was just so good. It was just so good, guys. But the second book in the series, guys, I wasn't ready. Oh my god. I think this was my favourite. I think this was my favourite book in the series. And if I could read any book again for the first time, it would be this one. Oh, it's just amazing. It's so good. Like, I actually just loved this book. I felt like I was in a roller coaster the whole time. Like, my emotions were everywhere. Like, oh my god, I just loved it. I just loved it so much. In this one, you meet like all of the main characters and you kind of get to know them a little bit more. And I think in this book, for me, this is where the story really starts. And yeah, this is where my obsession with this series actually completely. I thought I was obsessed after book 1, but after book 2, it just, no. This book is nothing on this book. And unsurprisingly, I rated this one a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads because it's just special. It is really just a special read. So the next 2 books, they weren't my favourite. They were probably my least favourite in the series, but they were still worth a read and I actually still really enjoyed them, but I didn't enjoy them as much as this one. This one was my favourite. And I did find actually that the next 2 books in the series were a little bit disappointing because I think this one was so good and the next 2 just didn't really live up to the hype from this one. But yeah, I mean, I still really enjoyed them. A Court of Wings and Ruin is the 3rd book in the series and she's chunky. Like, look how big this book is. I thought this one was big, but actually they look like they're the same. Actually, yeah, they're quite similar in size, aren't they? But yeah, this book is chunky and I did think this one was a little bit long because I would say there wasn't as much romance in this book as there was in the second one, which for me, romance is like what I was here for, so I did think it lacked that a little bit. But I would say that's only like the first part of this book. Like the rest of the book, like the ending of this book, wow. But yeah, I do think that there was less romance in this. Like, this was more about like the war and it was more about the plot. So I think for me, that's just where it lacked. And I did find that it the story did kind of drag for me a little bit in this one because I think it is just so long. I personally don't think it needs to be this long. Like, I think you could have halved it and taken some of the stuff out and it still would have been a really good book. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. I did rate this one a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads because I do think that the ending of it really pulled me back in. But I think I probably, in hindsight, would probably rate this maybe like a 3.5 or a 3.75. So next you have A Court of Frost and Starlight, and this one is tiny. Like, compared to this, it was a really short read, but I do think it was quite a nice break from the emotional roller coaster of the previous 2 books. Like, I really do feel like this was just like a little bit, it was like a little bit of romance, it was a little bit of calm, and it was quite nice to read. Although I can't really tell you what happens in this book because I don't remember, and I don't think that's a good sign. I do think this book was a little bit pointless for me. Like, there just wasn't really anything that happened in it, but it was still a really good read, and I still think you should read it as part of the series. I mean, it's not that long, it's only like 200-300 pages, so definitely give it a read. But I do think this one for me was the least favourite out of the series, and I rated this one a 3 out of 5 stars. And then finally we move on to the last book, which is A Court of Silver Flames. Again, wow, this book, I can't decide if this is my favourite or if A Court of Mist and Fury is my favourite. I think this is a close second, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. Like, this book is written from the different point of view of some other characters, and I think that's exactly what this series needed, because by the end of this book I was getting a little bit tired of the point of view being from the same couple of characters, and yeah, I was getting tired here. But this book was written from a point of view of some other characters, exactly what this series needed. I also think the character development of these characters was absolutely incredible and like some of the best I have ever seen. I think this book was amazing. Like, it was such a lovely end to the series. I was just so obsessed. Like, I just loved it, and it was really nice to get to know those other characters on a deeper level because you don't really get to see their point of view in the other stories. So this was really nice to get that kind of view from like their side. I actually fell in love with a character in this book that I didn't think I was going to fall in love with, so also that was just really nice, and it was so fresh. I rated this book a 5 out of 5 because, again, this was amazing, and this was definitely a close second for me. But yeah, all in all, I have felt very lost now that I've read all of the books, and I absolutely loved it. And I've actually read a few more fantasy books ever since finishing this series because I'm now kind of in love, and I think that may be my new favourite genre of book. If you haven't read it yet, I hope that you are a little bit more convinced from this video. Please give it a read because it's actually so worth it. Like, I absolutely love this series. I think it's amazing, as you know, because all I've done is sing its praises in this video. But yeah, I'm just so obsessed. I just wish I could read it again for the first time because it actually makes me sad that I'm never going to be able to read this series for the first time ever again. Like, just wow. I really want to reread it, but I still need to give it some more time because I only just finished it, really. Let me know if you do decide to give these books a read, or if you have read them already. Please let me know in the comments so we can talk about them. And don't forget to give me a little follow on my Goodreads because I'm now reading more fantasy books and it would be so nice to make some more book friends. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.